We all know the feeling. You walk into a showroom, catch that new car smell, and suddenly, rationality takes a back seat. You're imagining how that pristine paint job is going to look in your driveway. The status, the excitement, the novelty, it completely takes over. Fast forward a few years, though, and that excitement often turns into something else. You look at your bank account on your phone late at night and realize your paycheck feels incredibly tight. You are experiencing a quiet, draining financial stress. Your money is disappearing, and you might not even realize exactly where it's going. This friction rarely happens by accident. The environment of a car dealership is precisely tuned to produce this exact outcome, prioritizing immediate emotional triggers over long-term financial health. A car is one of the very few major life purchases where the slick sales pitch, the dramatic lighting, and the financing options all combine to make emotional overspending feel completely normal and mathematically sound in the moment. The moment you step onto the lot, or even start clicking around online, the industry deploys its most effective psychological tool, a massive shift in framing. Notice how quickly the conversation moves away from the actual price of the vehicle. Instead, the salesperson immediately pivots to one highly specific question. What monthly payment can you afford? Not the total cost over the life of the loan, just that one bite-sized monthly number. This chart shows why that framing works so well. On the left is your seemingly affordable monthly payment. But by stretching out the loan timeline for years, dealerships can disguise a massive total debt, represented by this towering red column on the right. You think you're getting a deal, yet you're signing up for a mountain of compounding costs. There is a strict financial shield designed specifically to survive this trap. It's a formula called the 24-10 rule. It gives you 3 absolute guardrails for buying a car without wrecking your finances. Memorizing these 3 specific numbers allows you to look past the dealership's framing and protects your ability to actually build wealth over the next decade. Let's break down the rule, starting with the 20. You should always put down at least 20% of the car's value up front, in cash. This keeps you ahead of the vehicle's inevitable drop in value the second you drive it off the lot. Look at this timeline starting on day 1. Dealerships routinely encourage buyers to ignore that 20% target, pushing them toward putting 10 or even 0% down. The green line is the actual value of your car plummeting. The red line is your loan balance. By skipping the down payment, you start the loan with your debt sitting far above the car's actual worth. Next is the 4. This dictates a rigid 4-year ceiling on your loan term. If you stick to 48 months, your loan balance, the red line, slopes down aggressively and meets the car's value safely by the end of the term.
4 years used to be the standard. Today, lenders routinely stretch these terms to 60, 72, or even 84 months. They flatten out that red loan line, stretching it far into the future, all to artificially shrink your monthly payment today. Here is the raw math of why that fails. Cars lose value every single year you own them, frequently dropping by 20% or more in the very first year alone. Your car's value plunges dramatically, while your debt barely moves. That gap between what you owe and what the car is worth means you are trapped underwater on your loan. If you get into an accident or need to sell the car during those middle years, you will end up owing thousands of dollars on a vehicle you no longer even have. Extending a loan timeline merely disguises the fact that you are signing up for a vehicle you cannot afford. That brings us to the final guardrail, the 10. Your entire monthly transportation budget must stay under 10% of your gross monthly income. In the showroom, the salesperson presents the loan payment as your total cost. They conveniently leave out the mandatory realities of keeping that vehicle on the road. This pie chart illustrates the trap. You might agree to a loan payment that hits that 10% mark perfectly, but once you drive off the lot and factor in insurance and gas, those secondary costs bite into your income. Suddenly, transportation is consuming 15 to 20% of your total monthly earnings. By ignoring those operational expenses in the showroom, a reasonable-looking monthly payment silently transforms into a massive burden on your daily life. We need to look past the month-to-month budget strain to see the cumulative impact of breaking these guardrails over several years. Breaking the rules often results in paying an average of $300 extra a month. Over a typical 6-year loan term, that adds up to a flat loss of over $21,000. The flat red line tracks $21,000 loss to the car. But if you invested that same $300 monthly, your money arcs exponentially upward. That massive, empty gap is the true cost, the future wealth your money could have generated. The 24-10 rule ensures a depreciating purchase doesn't quietly crowd out your ability to build actual wealth during some of your prime earning years. If you've broken this rule in the past, it doesn't mean you are bad with money. It simply means you are outmaneuvered by a well-engineered sales system built on small compromises. Before you ever step foot onto a dealership lot, sit down in a quiet room at home, calculate your 20% down payment, map a firm 4-year timeline, and cap transportation at 10%. Establishing these hard limits before the financing pitch even begins returns the leverage to you. It shatters the monthly payment illusion, pulls you out of the showroom's artificial light, and puts you back in control of your financial future.